All right, so we're here on episode 3 of Eastside Unplugged. I'm the host, Carrington. You can follow me on Instagram, Enaya, EYNAIA. Here I have with me today my guest.
My Instagram is above underscore average Joe Show.
My name is Keith, and my Instagram is above the rim 11.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Hefe. Y'all can follow me as CEO underscore Hefe, JEFE.
Y'all can scoot this back if y'all want to a little bit.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, y'all. I really appreciate y'all for coming today with me. I did want to talk to y'all a little bit, so just explain to me what y'all do for a living.
Okay, so pretty much we buy real estate at a discounted price due to it needing renovations. We fix it up, put them on the market. Sometimes do what they call buy and hold. So we'll buy them, rent them out to people, things of that nature, pretty much.
And we also do Airbnb on the side, too. So, like, got high rises and houses. So, y'all in the city, y'all hit either me, Keith, or Joe up. We get you right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Real estate, all real estate, you know. And next level will be apartments. A couple years we'll be buying a lot of apartments, units, rent them out, and adding value to them, refinancing them, pulling some money out, and keep going. That's pretty much what we do.
Okay, so before I ask y'all more about that, where are y'all from?
So, I was born in Brooklyn, but I was raised in Lithonia on the east side, Stone Mountain.
Okay.
I was born in Miami, Little Haiti, but I was raised up on the west side of Atlanta, Ben Hill.
Yes. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was born on the south side of Atlanta.
Okay, so y'all are from different areas of Atlanta. So, I've known you for a long time. So it's great to meet both of y'all. And I know that y'all were speaking a lot about real estate and how you all plan to develop apartments or get into buying apartments. So what made y'all want to get into that industry?
I'll go first. So I pretty much learned from Mojo right here, kind of the real estate game. We start off wholesaling, so it's basically just buying properties and flipping them for a higher price, and that kind of just transitioned towards like bigger payouts, and that's the commercial side. So, you know, that's where the big money is. It come with a lot of risk, but it come with a lot of reward too if you do it right. So that's pretty much it.
I think what got me started with real estate was in mid 2019. I was like, what am I gonna do that's gonna be different from what I did every day for my job? I felt like I was stuck in the rat race and I was gonna lose my mind, to be honest. So from there, I started Google searching like ways to become wealthy. That's exactly what I typed in. The very first thing that popped up was real estate. So from there, I started looking for different real estate investor conferences, et cetera, that were in the Atlanta area. Of course, because I didn't have a whole lot of money to try to put towards something like that. So found one from this company. I won't name the name, but it's like, I'll say this: do your research on these companies before you end up trying to go in and do workshops and such with these real estate companies. I think that'll be too much game to try to give everybody right now. You got to hit me up for me to be able to give you that information. But what I will say is this: I did that, and then I jumped into it head first. Went to a real estate investor conference out in Las Vegas, hosted by this guy, Tony the Closer. Shout out to Tony the Closer. I think he has a really good real estate investor workshop for beginner people who are getting into wholesaling and such. Jumped into that. Met my business partner. Her and I started wholesaling, and we started to make a whole lot of money. I can be honest, I almost lost it all because I was just popping bottles, blowing it, just going through the money. But I think I had to be humble. So God humbled me. I almost lost it all. And then I had to come back and reinvent myself in that space to be able to make sure that I was going to be in it for the longevity pretty much. Because a lot of people get involved with this. And I think in 2020, 2021, everybody wanted to be a real estate investor because it sounds so sexy. But we see where they are now. Most of these people fell off with that PPP money disappearing pretty much.
It's real.
Yeah, I first started out with the Airbnb, but then I got into the real estate side when my boy Joe was telling me about it. So I had like the Airbnb first, and then got into that afterwards. But coming from the Airbnb, it was mostly just me leasing apartments and then just putting people in it. So like the first couple months, I had to pretty much, it wasn't getting no reviews and stuff like that. So I had to put my own money into it. I bought furniture from like Let It Go, Walmart, all type of shit like that. And after like 6 months, I started getting like clientele because people was leaving reviews. So certain people would just like come in the States. Like I had people that would either like scam or something like that. And then they'll be like, I need somewhere to stay. Hit me up. I'm like, all right, got you. I'm going to go ahead and block the dates off. And they'll pay me on the low and stuff like that. I'll leave a review. So, and then after a while, that took off. And real estate took off too. So we just here. We just living now.
Well, that's a very great way to, get into real estate. And thank you for plugging in who you researched after and who you looked up to. Because a lot of us, like I know I'm only 25, so it's a lot of people my age or younger that doesn't have anything to look forward to as far as like we watch these shows on HGTV, may take an interest in like flipping houses and things of that nature, but to know the business side of it is very important. And so I just wanted to give y'all a platform today to be able to discuss and show that side, because a lot of people may hear real estate and be like, okay, it's too much going on with that, it's too much research to do, and they may fall back. So I know I'm very interested in it, and I just thank y'all for coming on here today. And speaking of that, so I know from following you, I followed you off of his page, and I know you speak a lot about assets, financial literacy. You try to preach that to your following, and that's really what drew me into your page. So can you just speak about how important it is to be financially literate? I know you said you wasted a lot of money basically popping bottles and a lot of things when you first got the money, but when you came to that realization, just let us know a little bit more about that.
So pretty much, I think I can honestly say, and I'm 32 now, so I wasn't really financially literate. I didn't start becoming financially literate until 2019. That was when I really started to kind of see that all of the money I was spending on all of the BS I was like blowing money on wasn't really anything that was going to bring me more money. So that was when I started to read books on financial literacy. The very first book that I read was The Richest Man in Babylon. I think it's written by George S. Clayson. A really good book. I think it's very important for people to read books like that. Books like Never Split the Difference. I can't remember the author's name. What else? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, of course, everybody reads that. But I started to recognize, of course, that I needed to actually purchase some real estate that I was going to have for myself. And if you can do 1,000 different deals, wholesale and stuff, but if you don't own at least one property yourself, I think you're kind of putting yourself in a bad spot, because with all of the people who do the fix and flips, when you wholesale the properties to them, they're going to take these properties, have it in their business's name. They're going to either fix it up, buy and hold it, and the buy and hold is basically you buying the property from somebody, you fix it up, you hold it, and you put a tenant in there, whether it's a Section 8 tenant or whether it's just a regular person that has a 9 to 5 that can afford to pay the rent that you're charging them. So once I recognized that, that was when I kind of started to pivot a little bit and change my perspective on the real estate game. And I'll give you another example. I got 2 Hellcats. It ain't no secret. But before I got either of those cars, I got me a condo first. I got a house first. I think that people buying Hellcats, living in apartments, it's like, what are you doing? Or ZL1 Camaro, any nice car. Why are you buying that stuff if you live in an apartment and you don't own something? That's my view on it.
Yeah, and it's a long-term game. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, like, people always want to say, black people this, black people behind, but, we got to take steps to do what the other races do, like the, Caucasian people, the Indian people, Asian people. Them folks own property. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff that we're living in, they own. Apartments they own. You know what I'm saying? They picking up them, $500,000 every first of the month from just our people. So that's why we try to preach, like, go get you a piece of property. And people think you got to have 200, 300,000. You don't have to. It's a lot of different programs to where you can put down 3.5% for FHA, or you can get a hard money loan where they fully funded. You know what I'm saying? A rehab and a purchase. So it's a lot of different ways where you can get into a property And like he said, put a tenant in it to where you're not paying for it, they're paying for it. And when you look up in 20 years and they ain't paid the property off, now every first of the month you getting, that's just your money because you own it instead of
cash flow.
straight cash flow.
That's why I
So,
say Section 8 is the best.
yeah, and that's the Section 8 is the most guaranteed
Most guaranteed money.
income.
Since what, 1974?
Yeah.
When 1975, something like that. But I think just like how you said, bro, when it comes down to it, so many people really don't understand that you in a race against time. Our amount of time that we have on this earth is so finite. We don't know when our last day is going to be. So why would you sit around feeling sorry for yourself, making excuses as to why you don't have what you want in life when no one is stopping you? So I want to say this to all the young black men and young black women that's going to be watching this podcast and they're going to be tuning in. The only person who can stop you from getting what you want out of life is you. So if you sit around and make excuses and you want a pity party, then people are going to give you a pity party. But you're not going to get nothing worthwhile.
So what do you have to say to the people that are credit poor but rich in cash? So how would they be able to, like, how important is credit when it comes to getting these properties?
Shit, I'll say I could talk about credit first because I done been through damn near every single car. I already went through $500,000 worth of cars, probably more, and I'm only 20. I just turned 28. I literally had everything. I had TRX, Hellcat, Red Eye, Z01, RS7. I got 20 wide body cat. I got M8 now, Grand Coupe. So like credit is so important more than I would say cash because credit speaks. Like your credit score, you could walk into a room and just off of your credit, people just gotta respect you. You could get certain things that money can't buy because money can't buy every single thing. Credit really gets you in the places that money can't. So credit is way more important. So especially when it comes to homes too, because cars and homes and everything else, loans, anything the bank looks at, they look at your credit and they see how responsible you are. So if the bank can trust you with a certain amount of money and you got good credit, that means you pay your bills on time. You can have a whole bunch of money and you're not paying your bills. Like, there's a lot of niggas out here that be on the gram posting money and they look like they rich, but they got horrible credit because they just recycling the same fucking money. So it could be that same type of shit, bro.
I got a question for you. What's the difference between a credit card and a charge card, if you can explain that to them?
All right, credit card. All right, charge cards is good. So we got the Amex. So we all got platinums. So platinum is like, that's like a black card for a regular man, pretty much. Like that's like top of the tier, pretty much. And when you got a charge card, you put all your purchases and stuff like that on the card, and then you pay it off at the end of the month. And that also helps your credit too. Credit cards you could pay over time, like in increments, but a charge card you got paid off at the end of the month. Or unless you can get charged every single month for that. You can't have no Amex Platinum or what's the other one, the Gold card? You can't have that. Those are both charge cards, so you gotta know what you're doing when you get that.
Credit cards also come with points. So like with our platinum card, we pretty much for every purchase we swipe, we get points. So it's like where we get free flights, free hotels, tickets to a basketball game, concert, like all that stuff you can pretty much acquire for free. You can fly for free if you just use your credit.
You go shopping too.
Shopping,
All that.
yeah.
And I'll give you a good example of what I think the average person needs to probably focus on when it comes to getting the credit card. You're not going to be able to get a charge card off the top unless you have really good credit for the most part. So I would say go after a secured credit card to start. Secured credit card means that basically you'll have like, let's say you got a $500 credit limit on the card. That means that you'll have to put $500 into that bank account for you to be able to spend basically your own money to show the creditor that, hey, this person is going to be a good steward of their credit and pretty much pay them back. And then after that, of course, I will say within a couple of months, then you can start reaching out to them. Hey, look, I've been a good student to this. I've taken care of my credit. So, hey, give me a higher increased limit. Then from there, of course, you start building your limit up. You start looking at other options for cards as far as some of the benefits they'll give you. That's why I think it's definitely important to look at what each card has in benefit before you ever sign the dotted line. Another good piece of game that you can get is every single inquiry that you get With a credit card, you can apply for, I think, 5 or 6 cards off that one inquiry. It's all going to count as one inquiry. So you can get 5 or 6 cards off of one credit pool. So always keep that in mind, too.
Yeah. And when it comes to real estate, like you were asking, it's very important. Just like with the cars, you know, if you buying a house or you're trying to refinance a home, they won't want to see your credit. And like, if you don't know what refinancing is basically where you buy a property for, say, 100,000. You put 100,000 into it, and you go to the bank and you get an appraisal. That 200 that you put in, that appraisal is going to be way more. The house might be appraised for 300,000. So what the bank is going to do is you're going to be able to pull out basically 100,000 from that refinance, which goes directly to you, tax-free money. But before you're able to do that, they want to make sure you have, for you to pull out 100% of it, you got to have damn near 800 credit score or a perfect credit score. If you got like a 580 or 64 or 620, they're probably not even going to accept the refinance.
But in general, how much would they let you pull out for most people who don't have that super high score, but there is still a pretty good score?
Like 75%, 75 to 80% of the overall appraisal price. So,
Yeah, I know a lot about that as well because for those of y'all that don't know, I'm a licensed insurance adjuster. So I know the documentation part and the mortgage part of like lending criteria, all that for home appraising and, you know, different type of like catastrophes that may happen to your property. So I know about all of that stuff. So I just really thank y'all for sharing that. That was very vital information. So for the people that may feel like you said real estate is very risky, how often do you see a return on your investment that you put in?
it's, well, you gotta understand, real estate is off rip, it's a slow game. Like, people, they work at it for 20 years and they don't really see their reward till they 50, 60 when they've stacked up a portfolio. And that's like a bunch of properties to where they're getting maybe 500 here, 1,000 here, 300 here, 200 here each month. So, it's definitely risky if you don't know what you're doing. You know, it's a big scandal going on with, I don't know if you know, Caesar and Tony, of people that were just lending money to somebody that they trust, and yeah, Caesar and DJ Envy, but Tony was calling them out. It's risky if you're just lending money to people and they're just saying, "Hey, I'll give you a return on you actually doing it." That's a big risk when you're doing it, but it's a slow game. Like, you got to be able to basically spend that money and wait for it to sell or either refinance, or you got to go with different exit strategies like Airbnb or just a tenant. So it's a long-term game.
So what areas would y'all say are the most lucrative for real estate investments?
In all reality, regardless of what area it is that's within, I would say, within, like, let's say 5 or 10 miles of an immediate large metro area. In general, if you're close to a big city, most of the immediate suburbs surrounding that, regardless of what state you're in, it's going to have pretty good real estate usually. So I would just say what would probably be easy for most people starting off is to look at like Zillow or Redfin. They usually have a big map that you can use like Google Maps, and you can see the areas and see basically what the properties are selling for in each given area. I think that's probably the easiest way for people to do it if you don't have access to the MLS, pretty much.
Yeah, and you want to stay away from areas like New York and California, because that's all
Too
bought up. You know what I'm
overpopulated.
saying? The Jewish people, the Asian people, any people, they pretty much bought all of that up. So you want to go to areas that's up and coming, like Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, maybe Orlando, areas like that. And it
Shit,
depends on
Carolina
what type
too.
of investor you are too. You might some of the areas like Cleveland, Baltimore, Alabama, you can buy a house for 50, 60,000. But Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, you might have to come with like 100, 200. So it depends on where you at too and how much capital you have.
Okay, so with y'all having some properties that are Airbnbs, have there been any type of horror stories with that y'all have experienced?
So for me, it ain't really been nothing bad. I just had like a lot of people stealing shit, like stealing towels, pillows, pods, fucking lamps. I don't know how the hell they walk out with a fucking lamp in their hand, but it's just shit like that. They just steal like little stuff like stuff that was still in the hotel.
So
Well,
is
it's nothing
Airbnb
bad.
good about getting you that money back for those missing items?
No,
No.
not really. It gotta be something big. If it's like a damaged TV or something like that, or somebody stole a TV. If it's something big, then you'll get your money back. But it take a long time, a real long time.
For
So
me, I had this one piece of property, and everybody wants to throw a party in it. So I have issues to where I got to pull up and be like, you know what I'm saying? It's not what you said. It's not what you told me. And I've had to shut it down. So that's pretty much it. Just people throwing parties. It's a nice, very nice house. So that's what they like to do.
by shut it down, you mean remove them or
Yeah,
just?
like pull up, and either you got to leave or you got to pay that fee. So that's pretty much it.
The fee is not cheap.
It's not cheap. So
It's not cheap.
it's a $500,000 home. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, so y'all think that Airbnb is the best way to get into real estate? Well, a stepping stone.
Yeah, it could be a stepping stone, definitely. That's how I took my stepping stone. But my luck is not everybody else's luck. But I mean, I'd rather try instead of not trying. Like,
I think that when it comes down to it, just like you said, there are multiple ways to get involved in real estate investing, but I would think that it's best for people to do their own independent research to see what they feel is going to be the best thing for them to get involved with to start. But regardless of what it is that you're going to get involved in, none of it's going to be easy. It's like my little bro. I can tell you right now what I told him when he first got involved. What I started teaching him was pretty much how to make what people make in a year in a month or two. So that's not going to be easy. You talking about making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 plus in a month or two. Most people make that or less in a year. The average person in America makes like $45,000 a year. So that type of information, you're going to have to fight tooth and nail. You're going to have to suffer a lot before you see a return. Most people aren't willing to do that work, so that's why I think most people are going to continue to sit on the sideline and watch the other people who are far, far less smart than them live a life of fulfillment that they can't live because they don't want to take a chance. And I think more so than anything, with us being in the technology age, you got more people who know so much about everything, but they don't take action. You can know everything in the world, but if you don't take action, you're not going to have whatever it is that you want in life.
I agree. So with that being said, how do y'all spend y'all's money that y'all make? Like, how do you best spend your free time when you're not worried about real estate or anything business? Like, how do y'all enjoy those perks?
I'll let you handle that. I mean, should we go shopping? We got these spots in the city called the Office. So we got 3 of them. So the first one is Cheetah, the second one is Magic, and the other one we'll just say like
We've had a good summer. I could just say that.
it's a good summer. It's a good summer, but you know me, man. Like we'll just, and we don't live fake lives. What we post on the gram, that's really how we live. We don't be living a fake life.
We don't even honestly post half of the stuff that we really could, but I don't know. I think we be kind of being a little bit conservative when it comes to most of the stuff we post. But a big part of what we do in our free time is travel to other countries, other states, etc. He's done a whole lot more traveling outside the country than me. I've been to a couple of places, but this dude like on a whole nother level. But I think like to me, places like Southeast Asia, Europe, I think people should start looking to go further instead of going to these, DR, Jamaica. Stop going to the same few places, man.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
That shit
That's
is
a
played out
vacation.
now, man.
But yeah, so we do various things when it comes down to it. Another thing too, of course, cars. We can't get enough of them. I think as a reward for the hard work that we put in, we like to go and buy nice cars. So that's another thing. Like he said, this dude's probably had everything from all the Europeans to the American muscle and track cars, everything. So we like to spend our money on that also. But at the same time, we have to make sure, of course, that we have assets in place before we start getting things like that. So I think that's another thing that people need to know. Like, I'll see dudes all the time. They see me in either my Charger Hellcat or my Red Eye Challenger, and they be like, man, yo, bro, how did you get that? It's like literally like how you see on a YouTube video, like where people be walking up asking that. And I was like, I didn't think that was real, but people really ask that. And I just tell them. And honestly, most of the people who I tell that to, they be kind of look like, oh, man, that's going to take too much. Man, I don't want to do all that. So it's like, well, I gave you the game. It's up to you to use it.
And pay your bills too, man. Make sure, and that goes back to credit too. Like, make sure all your bills paid by the end of the month, the first of the month, whenever it's due. Then you can have fun. Bills come first. You gotta work before you play.
Yeah, for me, you know, I like to shop, but I kind of I spend less. Like, I'd rather go get another property. To be honest with you,
My man, he go to the booty club. That's what he.
booty club and houses.
Nah,
That's
but
it.
he right though. He be buying. That's all he be talking about. He love these fucking single family houses, man. He love them. Like I love single family, of course, because that's where we started. But at the same time, he already know where I'm at. I'm more so like, yo, these apartments. That's where my mind is just. Like, I'm dead set on that now. But at the same time, of course, we can't ever forget where we came from with single family. So we're gonna continue to acquire single family. We got a really good situation in the works right now. Not even gonna talk about them. Just let it marinate for a little bit. But we got some big things coming 2024. I promise you.
I can't wait to see it. Now, as far as the apartments goes, you know how the mortgage rates are very high right now, and everybody's kind of been told to hold on buying, hold out. So with apartments, everybody's going to be looking forward to getting into some. Um, what type of are y'all kind of shying away from the people that have to use CPNs or have to use certain tactics to get inside? Like, does that scare y'all as future owners of
In all
apartments?
reality, anybody who's doing any type of thing that's not bona fide and legit, they're not gonna be in our place. We're gonna screen you to the point where you're gonna think you're going for an FBI interview before you get into one of our places because it's that important. Why would we want somebody that's not going to do things the right way in our place? Because that means if you got to do all of that stuff to try to get into an apartment or a house, you may steal the stainless steel appliances we put in there, or you may damage it and say, you know what, to hell with this house. I don't own it. I don't care. I don't want you in my place. So, no, we really don't rock with that at all. And that's why I can say, just like how you said, we don't live fake lives. I don't surround myself with people who scam or do any of that because it's like, to me, you lazy. You want to steal from somebody else who's out here working hard to try to look like you rich. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and the type of properties we going after are like it's classes. So it's like Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D apartments. We're going after like Class C apartments, and those are like apartments that might need work. Well, they do need work, and they might not be in the best areas. So we're really going after like Section 8. So we want to be getting paid by the government. So yeah, it's cool that we might accept an applicant here and now, but we're going off of like housing programs, a lot of housing programs, and it's a lot of Section 8 programs to where like we don't even gotta worry about that because the government's paying us. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting paid by the regular person.
Okay. I was just saying I know some people scam and use CPNs, but there are a lot of people that have experienced some troubles or hardships and they have to use those things or the scammers are marketing those things to them to be able to get them into some place. So it is a lot of people that are looking for housing in Georgia that cannot qualify anywhere.
We're willing to work with people. Of course, everybody goes through stuff in life. We're willing to work with people, but if it's somebody who's just doing some CPN stuff just for the sake of trying to scam and get over, we're gonna be able to see that fast, like straight up. Atlanta, the city of cap, we can see that from a mile away. So, but yeah, like I said, if it's somebody who just needs a little bit of help, we don't mind. We don't mind allowing people to move in, but you gotta. It's gonna be a case by case basis because every situation ain't gonna be the same with most of these people.
So, with that being said, are y'all like open to mentoring other young black men?
He really the mentor right here, but definitely
He the mentor.
this dude right here know everything. Literally, like if I know something, I tell somebody something. He like a damn dictionary when it comes to this stuff, man. Like this is what he live and breathe.
My view on it is this: mentoring. I don't care how much money somebody can pay you to try to mentor them. It will never be enough compared to the amount of time it takes for you to be able to try to teach them. Because as a mentor, you literally walking somebody through the whole process, holding their hand, baby stepping it. So it's like you got to take your time away from all of the big stuff you got going on in order to try to build that person up. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it is something to take into mind when you do decide to mentor people. So, and a lot of people will waste your time. A lot of people will say that they want to do stuff, and both of them can tell you, like, we had 1 million people over these last few years come to us saying hey, I wanna do this, I wanna do that, and then you tell them, all right, hey, show up here at this time, we're gonna chop it up. They never show up. They never show up. So I think that the best way for you to show somebody that you are willing to be mentored and that you are worthy of being mentored is for you to be so annoying with you being pressed about seeking that knowledge. You got to be thirsty for the knowledge, man.
Yeah.
You got to want it more than you want to breathe, honestly.
Yeah, and you also gotta like, yeah, that's definitely the goal of giving back. We're more like gonna give back, but in the sense of mentorship, you gotta add value. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like you can go to somebody and be like, mentor me this, but you gotta add value by showing them you working. Because time is money. You know what I'm saying? That time I could be mentoring you, I just missed the deal. A lady just sold it to another investor in California. It's gone. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that house. So time is money. You know what I'm saying? So mentorship is cool, but you got to come with value. You know what I'm saying? We at a place where you got to come with value, and you got to, like you said, you got to be blowing my phone up to him. I'm like, damn, this dude keep calling me like, sheesh, like I got to answer. I got to now. Like, so that's my take on it.
Well, I really appreciate the conversation that y'all have brought to my table today. I hope y'all are listening because this is very valuable information. Now, I just want to ask y'all a couple of more questions before we wrap it up. What would you say is the most valuable thing that you own today? Like, as far as, like, what do you think, not, like, monetary-wise or anything like that, like, what is the most valuable thing
I say
to you?
life insurance.
Okay.
Life insurance. My little boy got life insurance too. I got 1-year-old. Like, if I pass away, he get $1 million. Like, off the rip, I got 3 life insurance for him that cover $1 million, and his mom got life insurance too. So I'll say definitely life insurance for me.
So is it whole life or term life?
It's whole.
Okay, perfect. A lot of people don't know the difference.
Yeah.
It's actually very hard to find whole life insurance policies, and that's what you can draw from later on in life. That's much better than a retirement plan, correct? Yes.
I got mine through my insurance. So I got Farmers. I went through them. That's one of them. But you can go through your insurance to get your life insurance, but definitely get life insurance. It's so important, man. Like, everybody dropping like flies. You got loved ones. Make sure they good. Life insurance so important.
I had a couple of friends who passed away a couple of years ago, and for me seeing their moms or their grandmothers and all these people struggling, trying to put a GoFundMe together to bury them, it's like, bruh. And you talking about people who are 28, 29, 30 plus, whose parents and siblings have to try to get a GoFundMe together to try to bury them. That ain't no good, man. That's unacceptable. You have to take accountability of your life. You have to have that life insurance. I can't think of really many things more important, really.
For me, I would say my knowledge. That's it. It's just my knowledge. Learning something new every day, and I learned from a lot of mistakes that I saw other people do. So I would just say that's it.
And go ahead.
What I think, to me, the most valuable thing that I have is the patience that I've acquired over the years of failing forward, making a lot of mistakes, doing a lot of things that I had no business doing, and being able to learn from it. I learned vicariously a lot through others with a lot of stuff that I've experienced in life, but a lot of the mistakes that I made, I think it taught me how to be able to be better moving forward. So my patience with people and things and situations all at the same time, I think is what is most valuable to me, because it definitely takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of patience to be an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you decide to go into. And I don't even like using that term entrepreneur, because it's like everybody uses that word so much. It's like a buzzword. Everybody's a boss. It's like you're not a boss. You made a little money, but how many employees do you have working for you? If you don't have people who you're responsible for their families to get fed off of you paying them, you ain't no boss. By definition, just being honest.
Straight up. Straight up. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the type of answers that I was looking for. I know y'all were kind of looking like, what does she mean? But I'm glad that you brought up life insurance. That's exactly what I wanted you to say. because, like I said, a lot of us that was not marketed to us or told to us in school, and it's just like you have a lot of people that are my age that are looking towards rapping, scamming, playing sports, social content, and it's a lot more ways out here for us to educate ourselves on to make money. And I really appreciate y'all for stopping by. Now, another thing that I wanted to ask y'all, I know that we kind of touched on this earlier. I know you were kind of saying, y'all are into the car scene. Y'all have a lot of perks. Y'all touched on credit cards and things of that nature. But what personal items do you enjoy? Like, I know I see y'all post a lot of colognes, a lot of jewelry, a lot of things of that nature. So what would y'all say is like y'all favorite scent for, other men that may not have a scent that they like to go to, or they just don't wear cologne at all, not kept up on their personal hygiene? Just some tips.
This is Mr. Louis Vuitton right here. So literally, this is Mr. Louis Vuitton. So he'll tell you about that.
They have a lot of different. I would say this first and foremost. Most people don't know the difference between cologne and perfume. They're two different things. They're similar but different. Cologne is going to be alcohol based, so it's going to be eau de toilette. On the bottle, it's going to say eau de toilette. For perfume, it's going to say eau de perfume. That means basically the eau de perfume is an oil based, so it's going to be a heavier scent that's going to last a lot longer. So we usually wear perfumes because those are more expensive and they last longer. They smell a lot better. But I would say a good starter one for most people will probably be like Bond Number 9, something to that degree.
What's your favorite right now, bro? What's your favorite cologne perfume right now?
I don't have one. I don't have one. I'm sorry, I don't. But I like different because every single day I like to smell different. So some days I may wear Baccarat Rouge 540 or
Louis Vuitton, that new Louis Vuitton we just got.
A Louis Vuitton fragrance because they got a million different ones now. So you got several different types of brands that I like to wear. So I can't even just say one in particular, really.
Well, my favorite right now is the Louis Vuitton Pacific Ocean. You know what I'm saying? Big bro put me on too. Go get that.
So do y'all feel like, I know you said that an image doesn't really matter, but with the fact that y'all can afford these items, do you feel like you have to wear name brand or designer clothes, or do you feel more relaxed, dressed down?
No, like I could go in H. What? I could go in H&M and get a whole fit and be comfortable with that. Like,
go in his closet right now. Go in his closet right
Man,
now.
sit here, Captain,
like-
bro. Like, don't believe nothing this man just said.
Go in his closet
mean,
right now.
if you work hard for stuff and you gonna buy what you want to buy, you know what I'm saying? But like, bro, you could go in H&M, you could go in like Walmart. Walmart got some shit. They got some fire shit. Like,
Why is it, Captain?
I'm just saying, I don't gotta wear name brand all the time. Sometimes I could like dress it down, like throw some sweats on, like a Nike Tech sweat. It's about to be cold, something like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta always be putting this shit on. I mean, every time I was taught when I was coming up, my mom always say, every time you leave the house, make sure you're presentable, because you don't want to come out the house with pajamas on or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Suppose you get in a car wreck, God forbid, and you gotta stand in the open. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just. That's nothing. That's nothing right now.
So how does your day-to-day look like with all the things that you all manage? Are you able to manage it by yourself now, or do you need someone else to step in and kind of assist at this point?
Yeah.
If you want to grow and scale something, you have to have other people
gotta have a
involved.
team.
When it comes down to it, you have to make sure that everybody who you're going to have involved, or whatever it is that you have going on, that they have a task. Hey, it's your job to do this. It's your job to do this. And you have to make sure, of course, that everybody is held to the same standard and everybody's held accountable, because if I'll give you an example. When I started off in real estate investing, it was just me and my business partner doing the cold calling people every day and trying to look up properties, trying to look up comps and all of this stuff. And eventually, as we started to make more money, we were like, yo, this is like, we don't have time to be doing this stuff. So, of course, we started hiring virtual assistants, people that sit on the phone every day and call for us. And we started just growing our business like that. But you get, once you start making a good amount of money, I can't say what number it's going to be for everyone because it's going to be a different dollar value for everybody. But once you get to that point where you're making a lot of money in your eyes and you see that your business is growing faster than you're able to keep up with it, you have to bring more people in. But you have to make sure you interview and you bring the right people in. And like he said, you got to be willing to pay.
Cost to be the boss. Cost to be the boss for sure. So I ain't mean to cut you off.
You're not willing to pay and you're not willing to hire the right help, your business is only going to go but so far. And that's the thing I think. It's not hard for anybody to have a taste of success in whatever type of industry they want to be involved in, but for you to continue to replicate that and for you to make it grow and to be able to build it bigger, you always got to be thinking much bigger than I think what we're thinking today, because tomorrow you're going to have another opportunity that may be much larger. And I'm just thinking, like, when I first started, I would have never imagined that I would be focused on getting into the multifamily side of things now. I would have never thought that. I just wanted to get a wholesale deal and have a couple of dollars to be able to put on Instagram and show, like, hey, man, this works. That's what I wanted to do. But as we started to progress and we started to touch more money, I started to see, like, 50,000 ain't nothing. 100,000 ain't nothing. What's 50,000 gonna get you, bro, on like in one house on a flip, like when you're working on it?
From the ground up, you've been doing ground up. It'll get you framing. It'll get you through foundation, framing, and maybe windows in the house wrap. Maybe if you know what you're doing and you connect it.
And how fast is that 50,000 gonna go with you buying up all of this stuff to be able to, as far as materials?
Oh, quick. I mean, it's gone. That's not 50,000 ain't nothing in real estate. That's like the big dogs. They probably look at that like 5 cents. That's nothing because can't do much with that.
Like real estate, you gotta have long money. Like, especially the people that been doing it for years and stuff like that, like own gas stations and all other type of companies. They got long money. It's like generational wealth.
I gotta say this real quick. When I first started and I really started to realize that it's a very small space. It's big because, of course, you got all 50 states, but it's very small because all the people having a lot of massive success all know each other. Everybody all know each other, whether you in California or Atlanta or Virginia, wherever. So shout out to my boy Ramon Martinez. When I first got started, I called him. I paid a $500 fee for a 30-minute phone call with him. And while we were on the phone, pretty much what he told me is that you need a rich uncle or friends with money in order to be able to make it like really big in real estate. That's just the truth. So you have to, your network is your net worth. If you don't have the right people around who know stuff and know people and who can get stuff done, you're never gonna succeed on a higher level. Anybody can make a mistake and get a wholesale deal just off of literally going on YouTube. Anybody can do that. But how are you gonna get in touch with lenders? How are you gonna get in touch with the people that has material as far as like drywall, subflooring, all of these things for OSB panels for the best prices? How are you gonna know that stuff unless you know people? Labor.
You don't know what you're doing, they'll get over. I ain't seen Amigo charge a lady $14,000 to renovate an apartment. That's 500 square feet, $14,000. I ain't seen it. They'll come back, Key, look what I just got. So,
and it's like
you gotta know the right people, like he said.
What did I say when I first got you down with this? What did I tell you about what type?
The first thing is a lot of greedy people in real estate. Like that's just off rip. There's a lot of greedy from realtors to investors to lenders. Like everybody is really greedy. So you gotta know that's what come with it. And if you don't, it's either you a shark or you getting ate up. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Like you gonna hold your own or you gonna get ate up. It's simple. So.
And what I got to say to the people who are, let's say, 25 and down, since the vast majority, it ain't nothing, no secret. I'm gonna just put it out there. Fuck it. Since the vast majority of the young men and young women under 25 or at 25 and down are just sitting around waiting on an opportunity to come to them, for the young men and young women who got the real hustler mentality in their mind, you can crush these motherfuckers. You can literally be out here making a fuck ton of money crushing all of them because they can't compete with you. You got to have that dog in you, straight up. If you don't got that mindset, you don't got that mindset, you're not going to be successful. Fuck it. Let's just be honest here. Most people are going to be working a 9 to 5 until they die. Most people are going to have, let's say, 300, 400,000 in their retirement when they die. That ain't shit to live off of. most people retire at like 60, 59, 60, 65, somewhere in that range. Life expectancy is what, like 74 or something, somewhere in that range. You expect to live another 10, 15, 20 years off of 400,000, and you ain't even equating inflation from where we are now to that point. So 30, 40 years from now, $1 million ain't gonna be $1 million. It's gonna be more like 350,000.
What do you have to give back? You know what I'm saying? Jewish people, Indian people, Chinese people, they make sure they kids straight. We just make sure we got an AP in an exotic car outside. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. It's levels.
And the Bible even told us that a good man will leave an inheritance for his children's children's children. It says that in the Old Testament. So if you of the mindset where you want to just sit around and you don't want to put the work in as to where you can put yourself in a better position in the future, then you just lazy. I think Kevin Samuels said it best. And, hey, he's a controversial man, RIP to him. He said it best. As a young man or young woman out here, if you're saying that you want to live whatever lifestyle you want to live and you're not working 60-plus hours a week, then you are lazy. We don't have to work as hard as we do. And we work harder than people who make far less than we do. I work probably 70-something hours a week. And it's because I love the grind. I love the hustle. I have to be active out here. I have to constantly be doing things. Because the billionaires are going to be out there doing this type of stuff. They work more than all their workers. You have to.
Sleepless nights.
Yeah, I barely get sleep. I get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep at most every night. So if you're not of that mindset, then you will never succeed. Just telling you.
That's real.
Does that affect your personal relationships, though?
I can say this, and I know they can both speak to it. I'm a very difficult person to deal with. I am. I expect a lot from the people around me, and I'm going to give the people around me that much or more. So I think it does affect it to a certain degree because my mindset is like straight up a wolf. So if a person is around me and they're a weak motherfucker, then they're not going to like it. They're not going to like to be around somebody like me, but it is what it is because all of the people around me who be like, man, I can't stand this motherfucker. But if they take what I give them and they take the information I give them, all the motherfuckers making money. All of them are around me driving in fucking either Lambos and shit or Trackhawks, whatever it is that they want. They driving that shit and they living how they want to live. So it is what it is. Get used to it. You can either sit there and take shit from your manager or your boss when you're making $13 an hour and they're holding your job in the balance every day, telling you when you have to come to work and when you can go take a lunch break, or you can say, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to take a chance because the risk is going to be the same. Either you're going to risk putting yourself in a position where you can own assets and you can have a little bit more freedom in life and get more time back, or you're going to fucking take the risk of sitting your ass in that cubicle and being forced to take a lunch break for 30 minutes at a time. Fuck it. Make the decision.
Wow. And on that note, do y'all have anything else to add before we wrap it up?
I'll just say, whatever you want to get in life, you can always get it. I was always told when I was young coming up, I didn't have the nice clothes. I had the same pair of shoes every semester in middle school. I had hand-me-down clothes, everything. Whatever my mom told me that, whatever I wanted, my mom said, wait till you get older until you work hard to get it. So I got a job in high school, started working. I worked in a liquor store, my first job. I was selling liquor. I was like 16 selling liquor in the back. But I started working. I was getting $250 every week, and I just started stacking up and start buying anything that I wanted, and I just felt good. So it just crossed over into my older age now. So I just started make sure I'm working because I experienced life too, like being dead broke, looking at my bank account. It's negative and shit, getting fired from a job, not knowing what I gotta do, going back to my parents' house to like start over. I experienced all that, and that's burned in the like literally the back of my brain. Like that's burned in the back of my brain. So it's like whatever you want, work hard for it, go get it. Don't let nobody tell you can't get it. You can literally get whatever you want. I have everything that I want, literally. Like I go home to. I got a spot in the city and a crib in McDonough. Got literally $250,000 cars in my driveway. Like, he got a fucking high rise and everything. My boy Keith got multiple houses. Like, literally, you can get what the hell you want. And me and him, when we were working together, like, we would be working. We'll go to another job after coming. Sometimes we'll be following each other going to sleep, damn near in the car. Like, falling asleep, driving behind each other.
That tired.
Yeah. So it's like, you have to put in the time. Literally, like, whatever you want in life, you got to put the time in to get it. Like, it's just not, nobody's going to hand you shit at all.
I would just say go buy you some real estate, put your name on the building, and give it back to your kids one day.
Yeah.
Let me think of something not too controversial or something deep. But what I would say is that the thing that will put, I'm gonna speak to us, black people. Fuck it, because those are the most people I know. I know people from other races, but most of the people I know are black. Young black men and young black women, listen good. Until you put yourself in the mindset where you stop having that victimhood mindset in your head, and you believe that every problem that you have in life comes from somebody white or some other race, you will never succeed. As soon as you start to see that you need to be collaborating with all these other races of people, then you'll see what it's really about. All the people I know who are millionaires that are white, Asian, wherever else, those motherfuckers love to help young black people make money, right or wrong. They don't mind it.
For real.
They don't mind it, but you can't be a person that comes with that victim mindset and feel that every problem that you have is from somebody else. Yes, there are inherently things that have happened throughout the history of this country that we had no control over, slavery, Jim Crow, etc. But that part beside, the internet exists now. There is nothing that someone can hide from you, because if you have access to a cell phone, or even if you don't got a phone, you can go to, a library, get a library card and use the internet there. If you really want that information bad enough and you want to be able to succeed in life, nothing can stop you. So don't make excuses. Put the work in, suffer, embrace the suffering, and then after you suffer some more, and then you'll start growing from there.
Y'all dropped a lot of knowledge and gems on this show today. And I feel like this is probably the best episode so far, because we actually got to talk about real things. I no disrespect to my other guests, they were great, of course. But this is the most important episode to me, because I wanted to show my audience that, of course, there are other ways. And they explained everything beautifully. So I hope that y'all really watch this, take notes. And even if you have questions, you can contact them on their social media pages and ask them for help, if that's what you want to do. I know that I'm going to reach out and I'm going to get more information myself, because I have a lot of questions. And it's a lot that I didn't even get a chance to ask today. So just thank y'all for leaving those quotes at the end. And I can't wait to release the episode. Thank y'all for coming. I hope to have y'all again.
Most definitely.
Thank you.